Morning. So it's Thursday morning, my third day at sea, and conditions are absolutely perfect. The sea is, for the open ocean, it's almost completely flat, blowing about, I'd say, 13-14 knots, and I've got full sails up, goose winged. I'm gonna have to jibe in a little while because I am heading a little west of where I want to be, especially with how that forecast was for the wind to die in the west. So I'll probably do that in the next half hour or so after breakfast. So yesterday the batteries didn't get fully charged. I ended up with a state of charge at about 80%, and as soon as the alternator kicked in, when I turned on the engine, it overheated again. For now, when I run at like 1500 revs, it doesn't overheat as badly. It still gets up to like 110 degrees, 115 degrees, but it sort of holds there for the 4 hours that I ran the engine, and the batteries went from 80% state of charge up to 100% in that 4 hours. I don't know if I'll have to run the engine again. It depends really on, like, this dead downwind sailing is not good for the wind generator. And the solar panel is obviously going to be pretty useless if it stays this grey. So I may have to run the engine purely for battery charging purposes tonight, even if the wind's pretty good. And again, I'm just going to run it. I don't really want to take the alternator apart at sea, so I'm just going to run the engine at low revs, lowish revs, and charge the batteries up slowly and hope that it doesn't overheat too much, and just keep an eye on it again. So in terms of everything else is kind of perfect really. I'm just settling into it now, enjoying every moment, and not really thinking about the end. I'm over past halfway point during the alternator emergency last night, so I didn't really get to focus on that, but to be honest, it's still another couple of days to go. It's the end isn't really in my mind yet. I'm just enjoying each day, and today looks like being a perfect day for sailing. So there's literally no ships, so I slept really quite well last night in 30-minute bursts. I got my head down, even with the engine on. I managed to sleep for like half an hour here, half an hour there. I think I got 45 minutes at one stage, and it's just starting to feel very natural for me to put my head down, sleep, wake up. Yeah, I do feel like it's disrupting my sleep patterns to the extent that now when I'm trying to sleep longer, I'm still waking up. So I'm training myself to cat nap, and I feel fine. Like I don't feel 100%, but I feel like 80% probably. And the last time I had a full night's sleep was Sunday night, and it's Thursday this morning, so it must be kind of working. So yeah, time for breakfast and read a book, chill out, and think about that jibe. Coming up to midday on day 3, and we're within 200 miles of northwest Spain. We're about 320 miles from Ireland, and we're about to enter Spanish waters. We're about 14 miles away from the boundary there, but 200 miles to go, 320 miles run already from Baltimore. It's so enjoyable at the moment. The motion is easy. The wind has been very pleasant apart from that first day, and even that in retrospect was quite a lot of fun. And now I know a lot more about what Favour can handle, and I'm definitely the weak link in the equation. Like, she is absolutely delighted just to keep on going into that sort of weather, as long as she's appropriately reefed, and the Aries will steer all day long. All I have to do is lock myself down below and tune out. So, highlights of the trip, definitely after that rough time off the Great Banks, or not Great Banks, the Great Sole Bank, and then to come from that, where it starts shelving away into the open ocean. It's about 200 miles out of Baltimore before that actually happens. But when that happened, it was just the most magic thing. The sea calmed down. It turned this real deep blue that you don't get on the continental shelf, and I felt like I had got somewhere. I was in a different part of the ocean. It felt really identifiably offshore, and that was completely magic to go from 100 meters of water into 4,000 meters of water, and to really notice the difference was incredible. Leaving Baltimore that first night as well was magic. The phosphorescence in the water, it was like looking down at a fireworks display or stars in the water. It was beautiful. And apart from that, the uneventfulness of it was surprising. It was nicely uneventful. Like, I felt like I could have just almost forgotten I was sailing at some stages, and just like I was living on the boat, and we happened to be crossing a bit of an ocean. But it didn't. I wasn't wishing the time away. I wasn't like, oh, I have to get there now, and because I'm not doing this speed, I'm not going to get there till Saturday morning, and then that's going to now be pushed out till blah blah blah. It was those sort of thoughts weren't on my mind at all, which I'm really happy about, because that's the whole point of this, really, is not to be in a rush, and to enjoy each day and to take it as it comes. Weather is definitely starting to feel a bit Spanish. So last night was incredibly bumpy. Just kind of get to a point where there's the Biscay seamount about 200 miles offshore of northwest Spain. It goes from about 4,000 meters down to 2,000 meters, and I was crossing over the edge of that, and I suspect that was throwing up some very turbulent waves. But it's much better this morning, and it's a beautiful day. It's the first really nice day at sea. Clear skies, lovely wind still coming from pretty much directly behind us, so we're wing on wing at the moment. And we've about 110 miles to go, which is like, 24 hours. Hopefully by tomorrow morning I'll be arriving in Camarinas in Spain. So it all depends on the forecast, because it's not a sort of place that you'd want to go into in bad weather. So it's looking very settled. Yeah, we've got a high pressure system kind of over this area at the moment, but it seems like hopefully nothing is going to build up in the next 24 hours. So I'm going to get a forecast later just to confirm that that's on. If not, then the options are we divert to A Coruña or keep going around Finisterre for another day or so to Muros or Vigo or one of the rios south of Finisterre. But at the moment we're heading in as if to go to Camarinas, and I'll get a forecast later today. So it feels pretty crazy to look like I'm so nearly there, although there is another 24 hours to go. But as you can see over there, distance left 110 miles. So I'll need to try and catch up on sleep as much as possible today, because tonight, we'll be reaching the edge of this traffic separation scheme here. So we're not actually sailing through the TSS, but the exits come out, and we're going to be sailing across where the ships are exiting and entering the TSS. So I'll have to have my wits about me for that, because there's going to be a lot of shipping there. I've been through the one in Cabo Vincente on the Algarve coast, and that's extremely busy, and this one is going to be similarly busy. All of the shipping from Northern Europe flowing down towards the Med will be going through there. So yeah, busy TSS. So this is going to be hard to see because it's midnight, but this is the situation around Finisterre. There's the traffic separation scheme starts down here, but these are all the ships that are going in and out of the traffic separation scheme. So we're not in a TSS, so I'm like not crossing at right angles. I'm kind of crossing at right angles, but to be honest, everybody is all over the place. There's a lot of comms on the radio of people communicating with each other as to what they're doing. Obviously, because I'm wind dependent, my heading changes. Like, these guys just go steadily and solidly on a single heading at a single speed, whereas I'm all over the place, which must drive them kind of nuts. But as a result of that, they seem to wait until what I would consider the last minute to make adjustments in order to avoid me. And even when I do try and avoid them, it's unclear as to whether it's making a difference or not. You know, if I choose to bear away or point up. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm just tired. It's fifth night of this with no sleep, and now this is like a challenging game of Frogger dodging these guys. But I should just go up and look. Actually, he will miss me, but he's close enough. Yeah, that's a mile. Not too bad. Sunrise over Galicia. About 2 hours to go till arrival at the marina. Timed it pretty well in terms of, well, it was a complete accident. I thought I'd be getting in late this evening, so I'm kind of 12 hours ahead of schedule, and even then I thought late this evening was pushing it, so I really need to re-examine how quickly I expect this boat to go. She's surprisingly quick, really. So getting very close to land now, about 7 or 8 miles away from eventually getting in. I'm going to go up and put on the Spanish courtesy flag shortly. It's going to be the other side of the mainsail, so there's no point in filming it, but yeah, exciting. So feeling very good about this. Just have to take her in safely and dock now, but that is a real experience. It's just great to know that I do enjoy it. You know, it's something I've dreamed about for so long, and yeah, delighted, absolutely delighted. Probably not going to come out there, but it's a fairly rugged looking terrain, and down there is Finisterre. Very otherworldly looking. It's not a part of Spain I've been to before, so this should be interesting.